Hello. Hi, guys. Welcome to my channel. As you all know, this is your girl, Nurse Momo. Love what I do, love to share my knowledge with you, and also love to come to your doorstep each and every time to give you all the information that you need. As usual, let me know where you're joining me from. I'm Nurse Momo. I'm actually joining you from Ireland, currently in County Louth. Let me know where you're also joining me from. Kindly post that in the comment section and I'll be reading it out. We have a lot to talk about. Let's make today's session very interactive. Not just me, but everybody sharing their ideas as well. Okay, so welcome. Just a brief introduction. Today's session is all going to be about family unification. Okay, so I'm going to tell you guys more about most of some people have a lot of queries when it comes to family unification, when they can bring their family in, what happens. They keep asking Lucinda, have you also submitted? What was the process involved and all that. So today I'm going to talk about family unification, and also I'm also going to tell you a story about a friend who also submitted, a very beautiful trick that really worked out for a friend of mine in less than 2 months. And already he has his family with him here. And that is a very good one as well. So stay tuned. Remember to share this session today. Remember to share this session today as well so that other people can also have it as well. If you're joining me from Facebook for the first time or YouTube for the first time, you are very much welcome to my channel. My name is Nurse Momo. On this channel, I discuss anything relevant in relation to Ireland, helping others to be able to move comfortably to Ireland. Okay, so let me just acknowledge some of my viewers now. I have Azda. Azda says, hi, favorite Momo from Ghana. Thank you so much. I could see that you were actually waiting for me for a very long time. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. And I have M and N J, Michael from Ghana. Thank you so much, Michael, for joining us. And I also have Frankie Boa from Techiman. Wow, thank you so much for joining me as well. And I have Cedric says, Kwame from Ghana. Thank you, Cedric, for joining me as well. And I have Seram says, Madam, I know, Seram, I know you. And I have Nanaba. Nanaba, hi, Nanaba. My lady says from Kilkenny. Thank you so much, sis, for joining. And I also have Vincent Kwame, Vincent from Ghana. Thank you guys so much for joining as well. Please remember, let's just hit the like. Just hit the like before we officially start. And also remember to also share this video as well so that everybody can, have access to it. Okay. So I'm actually going to start with a few things. I was trying as much as possible to bring some important documents on the screen. That's my husband saying that watching from Ghana. He's actually laughing at me. Okay, I'm not going to say anything. Now I have Yatunde. Yatunde say, good evening, Nurse Momo. I sent email message to and on Instagram, but you have not replied. Thank you so much, Yatunde. It's been a bit overwhelming, I have a lot of things going on as well, and it has been a bit overwhelming, but I'll take note of your name now, and then I'll check your email. So sorry about that. I'll try and reply you. Forgive me. Sometimes the emails are a bit overwhelming, then my email gets choked. I know I'm trying to help out here, but I also have to make time for you guys. I acknowledge that. So sorry. I hope you've actually accepted my apologies. Apologies. And I also have Joel says watching from Lucan. Thank you so much, Joel, for joining me. I appreciate my guy. Thank you. Kindly remember to share on our pages. If you're on my WhatsApp page or my Telegram page, just remember to just share so others can also know that we are live right now. Okay, so I'm actually going to start with the documentation right to the point. When you talk about family unification, we have two categories of people that come into the country. I'm referring to foreigners. Okay, so we have either you coming in as a general on a general work permit, okay, or on a critical skill work permit. So on a critical skill work permit, that's where we nurses fall within. Okay, so I fall under the critical skill work permit, which shows that your qualification or your skills is very important to the country. Okay, so with such people, I'll try and leave all the documents under today's video as well, because I'm not able to present. I'm trying as much as possible to bring the documents over but I'm not able to do that. Okay. After I'm done with some of the presentation, I'll share the link. If anybody has any question, you can just join me and then you ask your question. If you don't want to, you can just post the question at the comment section. That is equally fine. Okay. So we have those who can apply directly when you're in the country. We have critical skill work permit holders, just like me being a nurse. And then we also have investors. We have entrepreneurs, business permission holders, researchers. Okay. We also have intra-corporate transfers and a whole lot, ministers of religions and all that. So you can go on the immigration website and check those who can apply for their family immediately they arrive in the country. So we being nurses, or me being a nurse, I can just apply for my family directly. Okay. And then we have a different category. Those people are eligible to apply for family unification after 12 months. Okay. So they are the general employment permit workers. And you also have the stamp 4 holders, which are not those who are not covered by more favorable arrangements. So when it comes to a general work permit, they have to wait for after 12 months. But we being nurses, you can apply for your family immediately. Okay. So that one favors us. Yeah. And before I started my family unification, there are some few research that I had to do. I had people giving me some documents, but I was like, okay, let me also try and look for more information on the immigration website. So I took my time and I went through some documents on the immigration website. I also encourage each and every one of you, after this video, it's very important that you also have knowledge, because knowledge is power. Okay. So try as much as possible to go to the immigration website and also at least get to know some of these things. As I said earlier, I'm going to leave the document. I'll leave the document in the description so you guys can also go through and know what I'm also talking about. So I'm just going to go through a document that I actually had downloaded from the immigration website when I was about to start mine. And after that, I'll also let you know the documents I also submitted. So I'll talk about the document I submitted, I gave to my family, the documents my husband also submitted. And then if you have kids, document that my children also submitted, okay? And some few important things that you should know when it comes to the application online, okay? So I'm trying as much as possible to share the document. It's not working. I think I'll have to do it in slides. So next time I'll do that. So the first one, I'm trying to share this. I don't know if you guys can see. No, it's not very clear. Okay, so we have documents required for all applications. This document I'm reading out is from their website, as I said earlier on. So we have documents required for all applications. We have passports. Of course, you cannot apply for a visa without a passport. You have photographs and also signed and dated summary form of the online application. Okay, so you do a visa application online. It has to be signed and dated. You have to complete the full application. And then we have the fourth one, meaning the letter of application. Okay, so this document I'm actually mentioning right now is a general document for everyone. Okay, then you also have finances. After that, I'll go through it, so no worries. And we also have previous visa refusal or criminal convictions. We have medical stroke, travel insurance, fees, biometric informations, letter of support from business, company, organization, or anything. And then you also have, if you are visiting in another state prior to traveling to Ireland, you must also have the relevant visa for the state in your passport before applying for an Irish visa. And then lastly, if you are traveling to another state prior to traveling to Ireland, you must have the relevant immigration permission for the state in your passport before applying for the Irish visa. So these are documents that are actually found on the immigration website for everyone. Okay, what are the things that are actually found for everyone. Then they also have additional documents. Okay, some people have a lot of questions back and forth when it comes to sponsor status, eligibility to sponsor. Okay, and then you also have evidence of claim relationship. And you also have, if you're like a child under 12 years, what are you supposed to do? Okay, you also have finances. What are you supposed to do? And then when it comes to evidence of dependency, what are you supposed to do? So I'll leave this side because it's a bit lengthy, and I'll leave it for you guys to read. In case there's any question that comes, I'll read it out here. Okay, I'll just read it out here. So I'll leave this for the meantime, and then I can just acknowledge those who also just joined us. Welcome, guys. Remember to just give your girl a like. Okay, just hit the like button. It's very important just to keep this motivates me, and it also helps YouTube or Facebook to also suggest the video to other people as well. I have Winifred says, Mama Lou, good evening, good evening so much, dear. Good evening. Can you remember to just share this video on our WhatsApp group, Telegram group, or whatever group that you belong to, even on Facebook? Help share this video as well. And I have Perry. Perry says, Sir Perry watching from Ghana. Hello, Sir Perry. Thank you for joining me. I have MZK. I know the person. Pokua says, hi, sweetheart. Hi, dear. Thank you for joining. And Jaffa says, good job, says, thank you so much, Jaffa. So I'll now move on to the documents that I gave, okay, as a sponsor. So in this case, I'm in Ireland. So the documents that I'm going to give out is I'm going to be the sponsor, okay? So with me, I gave out, I did a photocopy of I actually scanned my passport, okay? So from the first to the last page, I scanned the whole pages, and then I named it, okay, Lucinda's passport, and then I sent it over. And then the second thing I also did was my bank statements, okay? So I also gave out 6 months bank statements, yeah. Well, I know most of you are very interested when it comes to finances, so I'll give you a bit of touch after I've listed all the documents. So I had 6 month bank statements. Someone who asked, do I really have to sit down since I have to apply for my family immediately I arrive in Ireland? Do I have to wait for 6 months before I send it over? No. I had people giving out 3 month bank statements, and it was actually working out perfectly for them, okay? So I gave out 6 month bank statement because I was already in Ireland for more than a year, so yeah. And then I also added my pay slip, 3 months pay slip. So the bank statement and then the pay slip actually fell under the proof of finances, okay? And then I also gave out employment letter. So my employer, okay, my hospital that I'm currently working in, gave a letter stating that Lucinda Momo Sapon is actually working with us in this hospital. She's been with us from this day, and then we are here to support her. She's willing to bring her family to Ireland. Please support her. She holds a critical skill permit with the following number, so and so. So please assist her, something like that. It doesn't have to be the same draft, okay? So something like that can equally help out, okay? And then you have something called the P60 or employment summary, okay? So the employment summary, if you're in Ireland and then you have registration with the revenue, my revenue, you just have to go to my revenue, okay, and then click on the tax review. When you click on the tax review, you're going to see employment summary or P60. You can just download it. If you don't have it, okay, if you arrived in this country this year and then you don't have it, you can just attach your tax credit certificates, okay? Those in Ireland already know what I'm talking about. So you can either attach the P60 or your tax credit certificates. So I actually give out both because I have both, yeah? If you came last year, you're going to get your P60. If you don't have it, you can just attach your tax credit certificate and you are good to go. And then also attach my critical skill work permit. Okay, so that's the work permits. After you have passed your exams, you can then get your critical work permits. Yes, so I also attach that one as well. And then I also attach my tenancy agreement. So with the tenancy agreement, if you are renting, you have to get it from your landlord. Okay, and for the tenancy agreement, and also your utility bill. Okay, so with the utility bill, if your utility bill is actually included in your monthly payment of your rent, you can just ask your landlord to just state that your utility your bills are actually included already in your payment of your rent. Okay, you don't have to get it separately. But if you do have it separately, you can now add it to it. If not, you can just ask them to just state it in it. Okay, and I also have invitation letter. So I also did write invitation letter stating. Let me just give you a format of how I wrote my invitation letter. I know a lot of you, but I'm also going to leave the sample of the invitation letter also at the description just to help others to know how to do that. Okay, so it's very simple. I was just like, hi, I so and so I Lucinda Momo Sapon hereby write to invite my family, then maybe my husband with the name and also the application number. Okay, so after your husband has done the application online, the application number. So I confirm to confirm my wish to invite my husband with the following application number and also his passport number, okay, to join me in Ireland for purpose of family unification. This is just a sample. I'm also going to leave this sample at the description just to help you all. However, please try as much as possible to make the letter like your own. Okay, this is just a guide. That don't necessarily mean that you have to follow the same pattern. Okay, try to make it your own. Try to make it sound very lovely. Let them know that really you've actually missed your husband and also your kids. If you have kids, fine. If you don't have, you've actually been missed your partner or your spouse. Okay, so it can be a partner or a spouse. Yeah. So you write that. You also add that you're a critical skill work permit holder. If you're a general work permit holder, you have to state that as well with the permit number. You have to include the permit number. Okay, and then maybe I wrote that I'm a nurse working in this facility, and then you have to put the facility there, and also I earn this amount of money. Okay, so you just have to put the amount of money that you earn per annum. Okay, and then you'll be delighted to welcome your husband, your children. With this, if you have children, you state your children with this number of with the application number. So if you have 3 kids, you state the first child's name, application number. I actually added date of birth. But I added application number, date of birth, and their passport number. It all depends on you. As I said earlier, I'll make it your own. This is just a guide, okay? Yeah, so you state that if you have 3, you state all of them. Your husband, and let's say I have 3 kids. So sorry, guys, I have 4. So you state that, and then you add all your 4 kids, and then after that, you go ahead. That should be in one paragraph, and then you state that you are going to undertake all the costs involved in travel, and they're traveling to Ireland. Okay, you also have to state that they're not going to be in any way dependent on the family and all that. It's very, very important. After you are done with all that, you state that they should kindly find attached some document that you've already attached to the whole thing. That is your copy of your passport, all pages, your residence permit. Sorry, guys, I didn't add residence permit. I did add that too as well. Residence permit, your critical work permit, your letter from your employer, your employment contract, okay, your NMBI PIN. So your PIN, you have to state that as well. Your PIN also has to come. And then you also have copies of your recent pay slip and bank statement, tenancy agreement, tax credit certificate, your PPS number, your marriage certificate, and then your family pictures. Okay, so all those things are very, very important for you to bring. So I'm just going to go over all the documents that I actually submitted once more, and then we can go ahead and then move on to the document that your spouse or your partner also have to submit. Okay, so you have passport, copy of all your passport pages. You have your residency permit. Okay, so when you come in, you're going to get the stamp 1. So you have to add your stamp 1 to it, and then your critical work permit, you have to add that as well, and also your employment contract. So you add your contract to it, and also your NMBI registration certificate, that is a PIN, you have to add that to it as well. And then also you have your pay slip, at least 3 months pay slip is fine. And also your bank statements, preferably 6 months. If you don't have and you have 3 months, you can apply with 3 months. And then later, when you're doing the process, you can actually send any other document to the office as well. They are going to take that. I'm actually talking from experience because we missed out some 2 documents, and then later we had to send those two documents to the office, and they did acknowledge that. So it's a very flexible process, if I would say. And then you also have to add your tenancy agreement copy. So copy of your tenancy agreements, and also your utility bills. If you don't have utility bills, ask your landlord to just include that your rent includes your bills. Okay, yeah. And then your tax credit certificate. So if you don't have your tax credit certificates and you have your P60 or your employment summary details, you can just include that. Okay. If you don't really know how to get your employment summary details or your P60, you can just search online how to download my P60. You just have to go to My Revenue. When you open your My Revenue account, you're just going to, when you click on a review of the tax, let's say 2022 to 2023, there's a section for P60 or employment summary details. You can just download it from that place and just add it to them. Okay. And then you also have your PPS number, your marriage certificates, definitely, and then some family pictures. So the family pictures, if your spouse is back home, they can just add those things to it. Okay. If you also have some chats that of you and your husband, you can just screenshot it and then just add it up to it. Okay. Very, very important. I believe I've not left out anything here. I'm going to go over to the comment section and see if there is anything before I move on to document that your spouse will also provide. Yeah. Okay. So Francisca says, great job there. Thank you so much. And Original Akin says, can you use employment contract in place of letter from your facility? Okay, so you actually have to add, as I said, as I just mentioned the document, you have to add the employment, your contract to it, and also get a letter. It doesn't like you know, when it comes to family, when it comes to visa application, I always advise people, get every document that is possible for you to get. Just get it and just add it. If you're not able to get it, fine, you can just use your contract. But I'll just advise that getting a letter from your employer is very, very important. Okay. And just before I continue, just a disclaimer, I'm not saying that all the documents that I'm sharing today means that if you are able to provide everything, your visa is guaranteed. No, it's just, please, a disclaimer. I'm not saying that. It's just, I'm only sharing from experience and from experience of other people that have coached, okay, and how that it has been very successful. If there is any query, don't say that because Lucinda said this, definitely you should have had your visa. No, please, I'm only sharing from experience. So there's a disclaimer. I don't work at the immigration office, or I don't represent any agency or any agent. Kindly know that. Okay. And then when this says no copy and paste, there's no copy and paste, my sister. Nobody should go and do copy and paste. I'm just going to leave the document at the description just to help others. Okay. And then we have Stella. Is it only spouses and children? What about mothers and siblings? I'll come to that part. Okay, Stella. I'll come to that part. And then I have Busola say, can I courier my passport to my husband along with other documents? You don't actually have to do that. All the documents I just mentioned, you just have to scan them and then just send it to your spouse, okay, through the email. They print it out, they just make photocopies of them, and then they just present it. Simple as that. Just simple as that, okay? Let me just write the copy just to remind myself. I'll have to talk about that. Yeah. And then, so now let's move on to document that my husband also submitted, okay? So with he also submitted his passport and also birth certificate. Okay. So when it comes to the passport, he also submitted that. Yeah. When it comes to the birth certificate, let me mention this. From the documents that I actually read, I got to know that if you have any birth certificate, okay, I'm trying to look for the write-up. If you have any birth certificate or marriage certificate that was not given to you in Ireland or in the UK or in any European country, you should get that document attested. Okay, so that it should be attested at at your country's foreign affairs. So you just have to take your marriage certificate, and also your husband had to take you guys your marriage certificate and also his birth certificate. If you have any children, they also have to take their birth certificate to the foreign affairs of your country. So if in Ghana, you take it to the foreign affairs of Ghana, and also the same as Nigeria, wherever you are joining me from, okay? They just have to attest that, yes, this birth certificate is true, and also this marriage certificate is also true. So these two documents are the only documents that you have to attest, okay? I'm trying to look for it so I can read how it says vividly to you guys. Okay, it says here, give me a second, please. I'm trying to find it. However, I'll be leaving this document under the video just to help you out. Okay, I can't find it. But yeah, I'll be leaving it out just not to make sure that this session is not boring. I'll be leaving the whole document under for you guys to go through. Okay, so I can see a lot of questions. Don't worry, I will answer each and every question for you guys. So let me just go to my husband. So I just said that he submitted his passport and birth certificate. So he actually sends his birth certificate, the birth certificate of our children, and also our marriage certificate to the foreign affairs in Ghana. And then when you go there, you tell them you want to attest this certificate, they're going to do it for you. I think we paid 150 euro. Okay, so you just have to go there and then pay for it. I think it was 2 weeks. After 2 weeks, it was already done. So you do that and then you add it to it. It's like they're not going to do anything on the original certificate. They're just going to add a letter to cover it up to say that these documents are true and all that. Okay, yeah. And then he also did his police clearance. Okay, so he also applied for police clearance, and then it should have 6 months validity. Okay, so he did that as well. And then he also added proof of communication, WhatsApp messages and all that. He included everything. Something that shows that we are spouse. You can add something a bit romantic. So all those nice, chats and all that. You should you can print if you have WhatsApp, you can just print it out. If you communicate with your husband or your spouse through the email, you just screenshot that and just add it up. If it's Telegram that you guys chat, any social media platform, you can print all of those things out. Okay, so that was for us. We use the WhatsApp. proof of communication. We actually added that. Yeah. And then family pictures. He also added family pictures and also 2 passport pictures. Okay. He also added 2 passport pictures. Apart from that, he also added his bank statement. Okay. It was also 6 months bank statement. He did add that. And then he also added application letter. Okay. So the application letter, he also wrote a letter, which I'm also going to give you guys a sample. I'm also going to leave that sample on the platform. I actually have all this. I wanted to share all of this with you guys. So whilst I'm talking, I'll be sharing the sample, but I think next time I have to do it in the form of a slide to be able to show it. So forgive me. So with his sample letter, I'm not going to read out everything, but just to give you like a gist. So he just wrote that I, so and so, with application number, passport number XXX, hereby apply for a single entry joint family visa. So it's a single. When you go to the application, the AVATS application link, you are going to see single entry D joint family visa. So that's what he chose. Okay, so that is for non-Irish. So it says that non-Irish single entry joint family visa. Okay, for spouse. So that's what he chose because he's my husband. Yeah. So he actually added that in order to join my lovely wife in Ireland. My wife maybe is a critical. My wife, he actually added my name, and then it's a critical skill permit holder with a permit holder ID. So he also added my ID, just as I also did. And then he also added that I work in this facility. Okay. And then after that, you have to add some things. It's been a while I've been with my wife. I miss her. It's been very difficult for us, like emotionally, psychologically, physically, and all that. You guys understand now. It's been over a year. You haven't seen your spouse. It's not easy. You have to add all those things to it. Let them know that you really miss your wife, like you get to have her and all that. If it's a husband too, you have to write it. So we women that you don't like to really say all those things, you have to add all those things. So let them know how much you really miss your spouse, okay, and also your children. Let them know that it's been very difficult. It's been very, very, very difficult and all that. So let them know that you haven't been with your kids. You have 3 kids, let's say female and whatever. They are prone to this and that, and you really miss them. You wish to guide them and direct them. If they could please let you have them, give the bath. I can see someone's comment here. You have to know the bath, give it out. And then just have to be truthful. You don't have to hide anything. Just say whatever you have to say, and then you write it. So he just did that perfectly and just say that he was actually waiting to hear from them. Added his name, his number, his email, and just wrote yours faithfully. So this is just a sample, which I'm going to leave at the video, at the description of the video as well, just to help you guys out. Yeah. So I'll be doing that. Give me a second, please. I'll be adding all. I don't want to add it over here, but I'll be adding all of that just to help us out. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so those are the things that he also submitted. He also added some family pictures as well. He added family pictures. That also was very, very important. So when I was pregnant, when we got married, our engagement, before marriage, when we had our first kid, our second child, you should be taking pictures. I'm a picture person. I take a lot of pictures with my husband. So I was able to add all those things, So if you have more than that, fine. If you don't have, at least definitely you have wedding pictures now, engagement pictures. At least when you were dating, you had some pictures that you guys actually took. So you'll just have to add that as well. So anything at all, just to make it really nice, you just add all those things just to prove that you guys are, you are married and all that. And also, I think, that's all. I'm done. So now I'm going to move on to children, and then we can talk about other things. So with the children, when it comes to kids, it's very, very simple. You don't really need much. You just need their passport, okay? And I also added their passport pictures. That is 2 passport pictures, and also the application letter. They also have to do application letter. So with their application letter, they are not going to choose for their application letter. For my husband, when you go to the AVATS, it says that non-European, okay? So non-European joint family visa for spouse. So the children is going to be other. We have a section for other joint family non-European. So they are going to choose that. Okay. So you are going to add the application letter as well. And then we have the visa questionnaire. So the visa questionnaire, my husband also added it. I'm also going to leave the visa questionnaire sample under the description. After we are done with the whole thing, just give me some few minutes after we are done. I'm going to do all of that. Okay. So he also added that as well. And also letter from their school. Okay. So he also added letter from their school stating that this kids actually school at this so and so, and their parents at this and that. They've been in the school from this day, and then they've been with us, and they wish to join their parents they'll be glad if the embassy grants them their visa. So we also had letter from their school as well. And then, yeah, and also their birth certificate. As I said earlier on, with their birth certificate, you have to make sure that it's been attested by the foreign affairs. I know some people do not do it and they are able to get it, but for me, I'm only sharing whatever I read on immigration website when it comes to joint family visa. So I always advise people based on what is on their website. Okay, so I read this that you have to do it if your marriage certificate is not from the foreign affairs or your birth cert is not from the foreign affairs. So I read it and it was very important. So I told people to also do it. And I also did the same thing. Okay, so that is it for children. It was just like 5 documents. That is all. Yeah. So that is it. Lastly, I'm also going to talk about when you go online and you're going to apply for the visa. I know there are some few things that usually confuses people. Okay, just as I said earlier on, when you go to the AVATS, you're just if you are the spouse, you just have to click on joint family visa. Okay, non-European. Okay, that's the joint single entry D joint family visa, non-European for spouse. It is written there spouse. When it comes to your children, you just have to click other joint family visa for your kids. Okay, and then you have date of entry. There's a part that they're going to ask you date of entry. I'm not going to talk about everything, but the date of entry. If you want your family to join you next month, you just put next month. However, the date that your family visa is going to be approved all depends on the visa, the immigration office. Okay, all depends on them. And then we also have residency. There's a place for residency number. Okay, with the residency number, it's actually referring to your stamp 1 or your residency permit, but it's difficult when you are putting in the number. Don't worry, you can just leave that portion blank and just make a photocopy of your residency permit, that's your stamp 1, and just add it. So that actually covers it up. Yeah, so I think those most are the some of the things that are very important that I just wrote down to just share with you. Or if anybody has any question, you can just ask me now, and I'll also touch on that. So the address is the consular. The address for we at West Africa, we apply to Nigeria. Okay, so we apply through the VFS in Ghana, then to Nigeria. Okay, so the address is supposed to be the consular. That is the Embassy of Ireland. Okay, so Matama District, Abuja, Nigeria. I'm also going to put that also at the description to also help you all as well. Yeah. So let me just check some questions as well, and then I'll come back and then talk about the story of a friend that I actually spoke about, the one who actually was able to bring the family in, the wife, within 6 weeks. She already had the children and then also the wife. So don't miss out on this. Yeah. So let me just go through some of the comments that I've missed out. Okay. Okay. So I'm actually going to share the link. I'm also going to share the link. If you wish to join me and ask any question, you can just join me as well, just to make it a bit of fun. That doesn't look like I'm the only one doing all the talking. Okay. Okay. So we have Prisla says, good job, says. Thank you so much, Prisla. I have Stella. Stella says, is it only spouses and children? What about our mothers and siblings? Okay. So when it comes to your mothers and siblings, siblings are not included. I have to say that siblings are not included. But when it comes to I'm going to open the document. That's why I said I'm not going to read that last portion. So there we have evidence of dependency. Okay, so I'm going to read out the evidence of dependency to you all. It says that if you are making your application on the basis of financial and social dependency on your sponsor, me being your sponsor, okay, assuming that my mom is making an application while myself, I'm the sponsor, you must provide documentary evidence to establish that you are actually dependent on your sponsor. Okay, while the nature of the documentary evidence may vary from case to case, evidence of the following may normally be relevant. Okay, so first and foremost, amount, frequency, duration of financial support provided by your sponsor. Okay, for example, copies of your sponsor's bank statement showing transfer to your account, copies of your bank statement showing receipts of those amounts. So if I'm sending money to my mom, at least I'll write that maybe I'm helping her with her health and all that. So I'll definitely be sending her money, which shows that she's actually dependent on me. So the money I'm sending should also reflect in a bank account. Okay, so those are some of the things that you should be able to, some of the evidence of dependency, and also all other sources of income that you may have. If you have no other source of income, evidence of why you are unable to work, why you are not eligible to for state benefits. Okay, so if your mom is not working, maybe due to any ill health or anything, you have to state that. If your mom maybe has any illness, you can get the doctors to write a report stating that your mom is suffering from this illness, and then like not you don't have to forge, it has to be legit, please. You have to state all those things. Show some financial evidence which shows that you pay for her medical expenses because of due to her health issues. She has not been advised to work. Okay, so you have to provide all of those things, which shows that your mom has to join you or your dad has to join you due to this conditions that you've actually stated. Okay, and then you have your living cost. Okay, let's say your rent, food, and all those things. So it's not just your mom. If maybe even if it's your sibling and the person is dependent on you, you should be able to, like, they need something concrete to show that this person is actually dependent on you. That is when they are going to grant you. I know some other people now were able to bring their children over 18 years. So I have that. I'm also going to read that as well. Okay. You also have your medical condition where relevant. Okay. So you have relationship with the sponsor, including evidence of active and continuous involvement in your life. For example, evidence of visits, correspondence, and all that. So you have to show all that. So if you're able to, so for the embassy, if you're able, okay, to show that this person is dependent on me, I depend on my daughter or my whatever in Ireland, and then if he or she sponsors me with this, takes care of my food, take care of this, I'm not able to work, whatever, even if it's your sibling and the person is, you can show, you can prove that the person depends on you, then you can apply. You can apply that. I'm not going to say anything about it. Then you can apply. Okay. So I've read that for mothers and sibling. I wanted to read for over 18 years. Child that is over 18 years. Okay. So I'll leave that out now, and then later I'll come back to that. Okay. So it says that can I create my passport to know? Yes, that I've already answered. You don't have to do that. Just scan and just send it to us. Actually, I think I missed out someone. Please, you can just click the link and join me and then ask your question, please. Perry says, what form should the pictures take? Should it be printed on A4 sheet or picture paper? So the pictures, you can just do a copy, just print it out, like the way you just print out pictures and just add it. They'll bring all those documents back to you. Okay. Good work, Nurse Momo. Thank you so much, Stella. And then Priscilla says, what of a foster child? Is it allowed? And what's the age limit? So I'm actually going to share this story. I actually did a total application of 5, and then I got 4 approved and then 1 denial myself. So the denial is going to be it's going to be a different day, okay? And that topic for a different day, where I'm going to state the reason why that particular application was denied, okay? So with this question, what I'll say is that if the person is your foster child, do you have documents stating with the Irish embassy, they prefer someone that you have legally adopted. So I'm going to advise you that if you want to really go ahead, adopt a child. I know we have foster parents back home under the social welfare in Ghana, because I'm actually I'm really knowledgeable when it comes to foster children. Okay, so if you have a certificate showing that you're the foster mother, I'll say that if you really want to bring that child, just adopt that child instead of using a foster mother certificate and all that. Just they prefer the adoption. So I'm just going to advise you on that. With the age limit, it's supposed to be below 18 years. Okay, supposed to be below 18 years. However, if the child is above 18 years, you can still bring the child, which is also going to be a different thing. I have someone who was able to bring her children, about 4 of them. They were all over 18 years. It's a very interesting story. And I know that you all are going to really enjoy it. I'll communicate with her, and then I'll try and organize a live session for you all to be able to ask her the question that you want to ask her. And then we have, do you have to apply for permission for family to join your groom, the immigration department, before applying for the visa? Sorry, I'm not able to. Karen, so sorry. I don't really understand your question. If you could come again, sorry. And then we have Patience says, Lou, thank you so much for this. With regards to the tenancy agreement, how about those of us? Okay, so I have Igwe online. Let me add it. Igwe, come. Welcome, my brother. Do you want to bring your wife to Ireland? Anyway, so if you guys were a part of my live session last week, Igwe was also here to help me when it comes to the healthcare assistant, which is going to be a different topic. I just want to also help my nurses also around. So Igwe, welcome. Any question, anything you want to ask for him?
No. Continue.
you want to support your sister? Okay, yeah. You want to support your sister. Thank you, Igwe. So it says, Lou, thank you so much for this. With regards to the tenancy agreement, how about those of us, a room has been rented to someone whose name is in the tenancy agreement with their landlord? Okay, I understand that one perfectly, patient. What I'll say is that it's important for you to get the tenancy agreement, if possible. If you're able to rent out a place and then get your own tenancy agreement, very important. If not, talk to the person that you're actually staying with and ask them if they can talk to the landlord to also give you a letter. Okay. If they're not able to do that, then I'll just advise that you get your own small place, your own single room, so I can also get those documents to also apply. Because gone are the days they were very particular when it comes to tenancy agreement. I know they were actually refusing applications because of tenancy agreement. So please, if you have that, kindly remember to just do that. Okay, please. And then we have psych 16 psych says, is it compulsory to send your documents to the foreign affairs to approval? Okay, just as I stated earlier, I have people that did not send it, however it was approved. What this is a live session, so I have to make sure that I do extensive research. And before I also applied for my family, I did extensive research. I actually searched thoroughly to make sure that I'm doing the right thing. So I read that, and I'm also going to leave the documents under the description, as I said earlier on. And it was stated that if your marriage certificate, if your birth certificate was not issued by the Irish office or whatever, just get it attested by your foreign affairs. That was what I had there. Then I always advise those under me to also do the same thing. Okay. But I had people who did not do it and then they still got approved. Okay. I have, as I said, as for me, I cannot see anything at the description. Or please, any assistance. Okay, as I said that after the session, I'm going to do all of that. Okay, because we are still doing it, I'm not able to put out. I just tried doing it, but I'm not able to do that. So I think after the whole session, I'm going to do that. Okay. Okay, thank you. And then Kofi Wedding says, Baz, in the here, to be able to say something that will let them know that you really miss your husband or your children. Okay. And then I have Docker says, please, is there an age limit for children before they join parents in Ireland? Yeah, so it's supposed to be 18 years and below, okay? So anyone above 18 years, please, you can just, if you have proof to show that they are actually dependent on you, then you can also apply for them. Okay, maybe they are schooling, or maybe they have any terminal illness. They are not working at that time. Maybe your kids are not working at home. They are 18, but they are not working. You're the one sponsoring them and everything. All those things are proof. And then this is what I'm saying is actually true. If you so far as you're able to give them proof, they're actually going to approve for you. Okay. And then we have Nanaba says, please, do you know, do you have to notarize the birth certificate and marriage certificate before attestation? You don't have to notarize, nothing like notarization this time around. No, you can just take them for attestation. Okay. But please, when it comes to attestation, if you want to do that, that's fine. Other people did not attest and then they still got approved. But I'm only going by what the office says. Okay. Kwame says one of the requirements states spouse name should be endorsed in husband or husband certificate. Can you please clarify this? Yeah, so it states that I'm Sapon and my husband is Sapon. So definitely we should all have the same surname. However, if let's say your wife has not really changed their name, you can also add your birth, your marriage certificate, and also the affidavit, the change of name and all that. You can just add something to show that you guys are spouse. You guys are married. Okay, that is fine. I had people also did that, and then it actually worked out for them. Please, who do we address the letter we are writing to? So you address the letter to the embassy. Address it to the embassy. If you're in Nigeria, Ghana, the West African, okay, you can address it to the address I just mentioned out. That is the Consular Embassy of Ireland. Then we have MAITAMA. So then districts, then you add Abuja, Nigeria. Okay, so you have to state that. If you are from a different consular, if you are from South Africa, you also have to address it to them. I know all of this are online. You can just do that as well. And then we have Gracie says, thank you for this educative content. Please, if your spouse is in another country, let's say Canada or UK, is it the same process? Yes, Auntie Grace, it's the same process because you are trying to bring them. So they have to provide all of those things as well. And then you are able to bring them. Someone says, watching from Ghana with @Michael Sapon. Okay, I don't know who this is, but thank you for watching us. Please don't forget to like and share. Thank you. I think just as Flex says, is it clicks? Okay, please remember to just like and also share the live session as well. If you are part of any of my groups, remember to share. If you are part of any other WhatsApp group and you think it's important, please remember to share as well. Seram says, I nearly missed this. Glad I joined. Handpicked waving. Thank you so much, Seram. Ago. And then Seram said, Igwe is a whole mood. Yeah, Igwe is actually supporting her sister. He's not leaving me. They have a Jay says, do we need the whole tenancy agreement or just a letter from the landlord? So it depends on you. For me, I added my tenancy agreement. I also added a letter. So let me just use myself as an example. The accommodation I was actually living in was provided by my employer. Okay. My accommodation was actually provided by my employer. So I used my contracts. They gave me a letter stating that I'm a staff from the hospital. And they also gave me a letter stating that I lived in this accommodation. Okay. So they gave me all of that. So if you have if you have a tenancy agreement, you can add it. You can just add it up. That is all. If the letter should actually come from your employer. Okay. So if you already have your tenancy agreement, just present that. Unless maybe your utility is included in the rent, then they have to state that your utilities were included in the rent. But if you have the tenancy agreement, you are good to go. You don't have to get any extra letter from them again. Okay. Then Docker says, please, do we have a video on visa application on your channel? Okay, so Docker, the visa application that I have is for UK. I'll try as much as possible to do that of the normal process to Ireland. I'll try as much as possible to do that. And then Sarah saying, is it only your husband birth certificate that attests, or yours too? It's just your husband. So your husband and your children. If you have kids, you add that to us. For mine, I didn't even add my birth cert to it. Okay. Docker says, please, with the age limit, I meant as in children or toddlers. Can you bring 1 year old to Ireland? Oh, yes. So 18 years and below, anything below 18 years, you can bring. Even if it's 0 years, you can still bring them. Okay. Yeah. And then we have Winifred says, assuming you put in the application and your husband has to travel outside the country, what then happens if his passport since his passport is going to be with them for a while? Okay, so when it comes to visa application, a lot of people do not know this. When you're applying for visa, okay, that don't necessarily mean that you should present your passport. You can tell them that, okay, I'm applying for this, but I need to travel with my passport for this period of time. And then tell them now if it's time for the decision to be made, they can actually contact you to bring your passport. Okay, so it's not just Ireland. Even if you're traveling to the UK, you're traveling to Canada, wherever, okay, and you think that they're going to hold your passport, you can tell them that you need your passport for some time. After that, you have to bring it back because they are going to look at your document, not your passport. Okay. Yeah, sorry. So that is a done deal for you. You don't have to take your passport if you have to travel somewhere. And then this link says, oh, I'm late. Don't worry. I have this session. It's been recorded, so it's actually going to be of help. No worries at all. And then Kwame Patient says, please, I'm presenting the document in Ghana visa office. Do I have to go with the kids as well? Yeah, if you are presenting the documents, please, you have to go with the kids. Go with them. Some people actually did not go with their kids, and then they were asked to bring their kids. So please just go with them. Okay. And then you have Lou. What if you have not changed your name to that of your husband's? If you have not changed your name, that is fine. You can equally just add your birth certificate, your marriage certificate to prove that you guys are married, and some pictures and all those things. You can add it if possible. If you can do the affidavit or those things, just do it. Okay, yeah. And then Karen says, so I'm going to read this last one and I'll share the story I told you about my friend. And then Karen said, do you apply for the visa for your family directly, or you need to get permission from immigration department first? Okay, so I know where you're coming from. I also read this thing online. Okay, I read this thing online, but please, now you just have to apply directly. You don't need any letter from any immigration first. Okay, I know where this is coming from, but don't worry, you can just go ahead and just apply. MNN says, what is the preferred range of amount of money you will have on both financial accounts for sponsor and then spouse? Thank you so much. I nearly missed this. So I have a document here. I'm also going to leave this document as well. So this was the main reason why I actually started doing some research, because before we came into Ireland, we had people saying that you should have 3,000 euros for each person before you are able to apply. So if you're applying for 4 people, you should have 3,000 euros times 4. That's what other people were saying. So I had to do some research just to make sure that this is true. Okay, so I actually went on their website and then went through all of that, and I got to know that no, it's not true. That is not true. So what I actually saw, okay, is that if it's a spouse or a de facto partner, it should be minimum annual income of 30,000 before tax for the past 2 years. Okay, and then when it comes to your children, okay, it actually gives you an amount of money you should earn per week after tax. So if you have your critical skill permit, it states how much you are going to earn per week. Okay, so if you have just one child, at least you should be earning 541 euros per week. Yeah, and then if you have, give me a second, I think Ikwe has a problem. Then if you have two children, you should earn at least 642 euros per week. I'm going to leave this document also there to help you as well. And then if you have three children, you should be able to earn 743 euro per week. And then four children, you should be able to earn 834 euro per week. That is after tax. If you have five children, ideally, you should be able to earn like 960 euros per week. Okay. And then if you have six children, you should be able to earn at least 1,176 euros. For seven children, 1,212. And then for eight children, 1,308. Okay. So we also have elderly dependent parents. So if one parent's annual income of 60,000 for the past plus health insurance. And you also have two parents, which is annual insurance of 75,000 for the past 3 years after tax plus health insurance. So this amount actually states, when I read it, actually states that, oh, you actually should be earning this amount. So I have 4 kids and I actually apply for my 4 kids. So I should be able to earn 834 euros per week. And I actually fell in that category. So I was able to apply for them. So that is how the whole thing is. That don't mean that you have, even if you have 2,000 in your account, you can apply. Even if you have 5,000 in your account, you can still apply. 7,000, you should still apply. But at least your account shouldn't be zero. Well, someone that you are bringing your family over to come and help you out, you should be able to at least have something in your account. Okay, that is very, very important. So I think that issue about the amount of money you should have before you are pleased is not true. Just get the minimum at least amounts per week, and then you are good. You are good to go. Okay, yeah. So I think I'm done with that. So when it comes to health insurance, I think we have a list that says that your spouse should have health insurance. So with the insurance, they can have it when you're applying for the visa, or at least when you're applying for the visa. Okay, or give me a second, please. I have someone sending me a message here. Okay. So you can actually apply for the health insurance after they've had their visa and then they are coming in. Because when they come in, which is going to be a different topic about some of the things you should do when your spouse come in, when your kids come in, we also have a session that we are going to talk about all of that. So we all get to know about it. Okay. Yes. So I'm also going to thank you, DJ says informative. Thank you so much. And then we also have I'm also going to talk about, sorry, I'm a bit distracted here. Forgive me. Okay, so I'm also going to share with you the story of my friend that I spoke about. So with if you're a nurse and your spouse is also a nurse, I'm just going to say that this is a plus for you guys. Okay, if you're a nurse and your spouse is also a nurse, it's a plus for you, because a friend of mine who is a nurse actually came into Ireland, okay, and then made his wife also write the exams. Okay, so the wife also wrote the exams and also successfully went through the exams, did her NMBI registration, got her decision letter. Okay, then after that, she also applied for a job. Okay, so she also applied for a job. She got a job. Then later, she also had a ATWS, which is the atypical working scheme. Then after that, the wife also applied for visa. Okay, so that's where the trick comes in. When the wife was applying for visa, she also added her kids. Okay, so she applied with a atypical working scheme. Okay, the ATWS stating that I'm supposed to come to Ireland to come and complete my adaptation or my RCSI, whatever. And then added that my husband is already in Ireland, also working as a nurse. Okay, my husband is in Ireland working as a nurse. The husband also wrote a letter that I have my wife coming in to come and do adaptation because she's a nurse to help your country, and also have my kids with her. So I'm also applying for my kids. That's the family unification. So the wife applied as like employment visa, while the kids also applied for family unification. And the good news is that their application was approved within 6 weeks. Okay, which I think so far that's the earliest family visa I've ever had. Okay, so the kids had their visa within 6 weeks, which is very, very, very good. So please, if your wife or your husband is a nurse, okay, and then one person is over here, don't sit home relaxing for your husband to come and pick you. It's a good thing. It all depends on you, but I'll just advise. Okay, I'll advise that please, if you are able to also write your IELTS back home, do it. So that you don't have to wait for like 6 months before your spouse joins you. It can actually be very, very, it can be less than that. Okay, you don't have to wait for that long period. Okay, that is the easiest and the fastest family unification I've ever heard, okay, and ever experienced. So guys, just do it, just do it. And now the good news is that at least they are just the whole process is has really been improved, which is very good. Okay, and then I have na equalize. Okay, sorry, Bragidion, I'm not very good with the trio. Okay, I know, I can't read it out. Forgive me. If you can read that comment, I'll be grateful. Kwame says, with the kids application letter, if you have two or more, should it be written separately? Oh, so when you're writing, if you are writing an application letter, you can just have to just write one to cover all of them. Okay, you can just write one to cover all of them. And please, just to add that when it comes to the photocopies, okay, all the documents that you are sending to the embassy, giving to them, they just have to print one out and just photocopy, make copy one each. And then for their own application, they just make everything that they just need the like original document and also a photocopy of their document. Okay, so whatever you send to them, it just covers them up. Okay. Yeah. Bragging of Medasilu Yate. I don't really know what you said, but I can't, so forgive me. I'm not very good with tree. And then Kwame says, with the kids, yeah, I've already read that. Karen said, do you need to rent a house that can accommodate your family size, or I can use one room I'm living in now? Yeah, so my room that I used was just a single room, okay? It was just a single room, please. It was just a single room. So you can also do that. That one. Sarah says, I think Igwe's network is very bad. Is not able to stand today. Yeah, I think Seram says you should say something. If we look at the tree and then read it out for me. Nanaba says, hi, says some of us don't have tenancy agreement, but the landlord is willing to write a letter in that effect. Oh, yes, that is okay. If they're willing to write a letter for you stating that you live in the accommodation, you pay this amount of money, this amount you pay for utility, you are good to go, my sister. No worries at all, no stress about it, okay? You can do that. And then we have Frank says, will you fill a separate application form for all your kids? Yes. Thank you for this question, Frank. So you need a separate application for yourself if you are back home as a spouse, and for all your children. If you have 3 kids, you need separate applications for all of them. Okay, so they all need a letter from their school, their own birth certificates, their own passports, their own passport pictures too, and also they also need separate application letter. Okay, Igwe is actually listening for the future. If he also needs to apply, I know that. So everybody has to, need to have a separate application online. Okay, that is very important. Yeah, so please remember to like this video if you haven't done so. Also remember to subscribe to my channel just to support your sister. I have 3 minutes to go. So it's supposed to be a 1 session, 3 minutes to go. If you have anything if you want to join me and ask any question that I haven't actually answered, I'll share the link once more so that you can join. You can join the link. Yeah. So this video is actually dedicated to all my Telegram, sisters and brothers that have been on my neck for me to do this video. Annette, Saram, hey, all of the Agape, all of you, like this video is actually for you guys, because Stephanie, this video is for you guys. So thank you all so much for pushing me, for encouraging me to do this video. I know I've been a bit slow, but thank God that today we are finally here. See you within 3 or 4 days for another session for the healthcare assistant jobs. Okay. And then Busayo says, how long should we hope to see our family? Oh, that's so lovely. I know the feeling, right? Okay, so I think last year it was like a year, and then it came to 10 months, and then it came to 8 months, and then finally it came to 6 months. And some people are now getting it within 4 months, within 3 months, within 6 months. And then luckily for my friend I just shared, he actually had it within 6 weeks. So if you know those petty tricks, you can just go ahead for it and then you are good to go. I think another story that a friend also shared that she actually applied for just a husband first. Okay, so let me just bring this out so that please you don't make that same mistake. She actually applied for a friend, the husband first. Now, after 2 months, she also went ahead to apply for her kids. And then the Irish embassy picked up all the files and then approved all the 3 of them. She was not really ready for the accommodation in that aspect, so it was a bit tough on her. So if you want to apply for just your husband first, make sure that it comes out before you go ahead for your kids as well. Okay. MNJ, you skipped my question. Please, what should be the minimum account balance for your financial status by both? Okay, I did not skip it. I actually answered it. You're the main reason why I actually answered and then gave out the amount that you should have. Okay, so I'm not going to say that you need this amount, because it's not realistic. They are not saying that I have this amount. They are saying that you should be earning this amount per week to be able to apply. When it comes to your spouse back home, even if they have any amount at all they have, it's okay, because you are stated that you are going to be the one sponsoring them. So you are sponsoring them in Ireland. You are going to take care of their food and their basic needs. So they know that they are dependent on you. So Irish immigration is saying that since they're going to be dependent on you, then you need to make sure. So the Irish embassy is saying that since they are going to be dependent on you, okay, you need to make sure they are earning this amount of money. If you have 3 kids, 2 kids, 1 or whatever, that's what they are saying. Okay, so that is how it goes. Okay, and then we have hi, says, how do you fill in the gap while waiting for the visa approval? Fill in which gap? Forgive me, I'm a bit lost physically and mentally. You cannot fill in any gap. This question that you're asking me, it's a tough question. Oh. If you are missing your family, I know whether that's what you really mean. If you are missing your family physically and mentally, please, don't worry. Just keep praying that they will come. And then Clay says, thanks for being a sacrificial lamb to us. Have a beautiful week. Thank you so much. Kojo, my own very Kojo. Thank you so much for joining, my dear. Thank you. I really appreciate you a lot. And then MNJ says, great job, Momo. Thank you. Thank you so much, Jay. And then Tano Dominic says, oh, my own very Dominic says power. Dominic is actually listening to all of this. The way he's wild. If there is any late, I won't say that, but I know where he's coming from. Thank you so much for joining and supporting me, Dominic. I really appreciate it. Okay, so now my time is up. Thank you guys so much. Okay, there's another question. Can I call back my passport after submission before I have to travel? Can I call back my passport after submission? Okay, if you know you have to travel, you don't have to submit your passport. Just tell them that I'm going to travel. Okay, I'm traveling this week. So if you just have to tell them that when it's time for approval, they are going to contact you to bring your passport. If your passport is going to be of use to you, okay, you don't necessarily have to submit it. And then Linda, hey Linda, it's been a while, my girl. Says hello, Nurse Momo. Thank you so much for joining, Linda. And then I have here, Azza says, God bless you, Lou. Thank you so much. God bless you too. Mavis Yanko say, Mama Lou, more grace. Thank you so much, my own Mavis. And then Gertrude says, thank you so much. Veronica says, oh, my own sister, God bless you. Oh, my family, I really appreciate you guys so much, because you guys are really supporting your girl, and it really means a lot to me. I appreciate it. Okay, guys, remember to like this video. Remember, if you know you haven't liked it, just hit on the like button right now. Just hit on it just to support your girl. I know you guys are supporting, but let's support more. If you are part of any group, just share it and just encourage them. Some people are actually willing to travel to Ireland right now, but they don't really know much when it comes to the family unification. That's the main reason why I actually did this video. So let's help and then share, encourage them to know more about the family unification, okay? So that at least they can also make their decision based on this video, okay? And Karen says, how much do you need to have in my account for my bank statement? For your bank statement, it depends. For family unification, if you're in Ireland, I said it earlier on that I'm going to leave the document. There is an amount that you should have, okay, per person. If it's just your spouse that you're inviting, you should have at least minimum of 30,000 per annum. If you have 1 kid, there is an amount that you should end. You can replay this video. If you have 2 children, there is an amount that you should also have like that. Okay. Then Frank says, how do the sponsors sign the invitation? So if me writing a letter to my husband, I signed it, the letter and everything. So everything that I gave to my husband, I did not mail this, please. I scanned everything to my husband. You have to just scan it. Just scan it and just send it over. Okay, scan all your documents, send it over. Your husband or wife will just print it out, or your partner will just print it out. Then they also make photocopies. So one will be original, one will be a photocopy. Okay. Karen says, how much does one need to have in the account for the statement? So I don't know if your statement back home, I can't say that this amount you need to have. At least you have an amount. We state that at least your account is not zero. Okay. If you're already in Ireland as a nurse, the amount you have in your account does not matter. So far as that you earn that specific amount in a week. Okay, let me just try and then read out, because you guys keep asking. I'm just going to read out just once and then I'll end this matter. So if you're in Ireland as a nurse, if you are the sponsor, it's saying that at least for a partner or your spouse, minimum annual income of 30,000 before tax. Okay, and then if you're having a child, okay, you should earn at least 541 euros per week after tax. 2 children, you should be earning 642 like that. And then 3 children, 743, 4, 834. So I use myself as an example. I have 4 kids. So they were expecting me to earn at least 834 euros per week, okay, after tax. So I fall within this category. I actually checked. I was like, okay, I have 4 kids. Do I fall within? Okay. But even if I don't even fall within, let's know that every case, okay, is differs. So I might not even fall within. I will still apply. They might still give me. Okay. Yeah. If you have 5 children, 960. If you have 6, you have 1,076. 7 children, 102.12 per week. You should be earning this per week. And someone asks, how do I know how much I'm earning per week? When you check your critical skill permits, the critical skill permit, the holder, it states how much you are earning per week. Okay, it states on your critical skill permit, it states there. So you should know if you have 8 kids back home, you'll have 1,308. You at least should be earning that per week. Okay, so I'll be leaving all of these documents down for you guys to be able to go through, which will be of benefit to you. Okay, so when it comes to your spouse back home, at least they should have something in their account, not much, because you have already stated that you are the sponsor, you are sponsoring them. So the amount of money they have in their account does not really matter, but at least they should have something. They can't just send a bank statement with zero cash in it, something. And definitely there should be a transactions showing that you are sending money to your husband. I forgot about that. You're able to show that, and you send this money back home for your children's school fees, maybe for their health or whatever, for groceries, anything, any amount at all, any money at all that you use, whether you use Reunity, any of the bank transfers. Make sure that you save the receipt and state the reason why you are sending it. Okay, so when your husband also prints out his or her bank statement, the money, that the receipt that you showed is also reflecting in his bank statement, showing that yes, you actually sent this money to him or her. If it's bank, even if it's mobile money transfer, mobile money transfer, you can still keep the receipts, say the reason for it. Okay, which is very important when it comes to tax credit too as well, tax claim as well. And then you have patient says, I still have your Kobe, sister. Hey, please bring my Kobe. Patience. You have to stop that. Please bring my Kobe. Kobe is very, very important too. Becca says, God bless you. Says, God bless you too. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate you. See you guys very, 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 very soon. Let's say in 2 days or in 3 days for another session. And I hope to have the same support that you guys just gave today. I appreciate you all. I love you all. Bye. See you all, guys, next week. Bye.